Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. It's Schiffer Books. Schifferbooks.com is the website. Feel free to freeze frame there and take that information if you want it. That way you can find out how you spell Schiffer for Schiffer Books, if you're interested. Supportive Oracle Cards, Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Websites, I got a bunch of Hay House websites in this book, so I'll show you all those. So you can freeze frame on that if you want that information. It's really blue. I wonder if it's that blue, actually. Alright, so if you want that information, feel free to use it as you would like. Okay, alright. What do we have for Cancer? Okay. A lot of social activity. I get this community card here. Okay, so this is a very interesting. When I'm looking at this Two of Cups to start off with, whoever this is very important to you. If it's a romantic relationship, it's already established if this is going to hit. More than likely, this is somebody that you really care for. It really matters to you what happens to them, what they have to deal with, stuff like that. Excuse me. There's a contradictory energy with this. Kind of like, almost like I try to be happier with a situation than I really am. I don't think there's anything really majorly wrong with the situation, but like the person you're dealing with makes decisions. And I feel like it's one of those things where I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. Or I'd rather they didn't do that. Something like that. But I'm also kind of like, at the same time, like I know they're going to do what they're going to do. I'm not interested in running their life. I'm not interested in running their life for them. I really don't like the decisions they're really making, but it's not the worst thing. Could be better. Could easily be better. And there's a lot of random energy there. I feel like when you're looking at this person, you feel like they take chances, unnecessary chances. They just kind of go off half-cocked every now and then. I just feel like I'm not a fan of how they do things, but I'm trying to be okay with it because I'm accepting, like, well, that's who they are, though. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm like, well, that is who they are. So that's just who they are. Messages. You're trying to give this person a heads up about something. And you know how they are. You know that they're kind of... I just feel like every now and then they just kind of go off. And they just go do what they want to do. This is almost like somebody who saves up money for like a trip. And the trip, say, for example, the trip's going to be $3,000. And they get $1,000 saved up and they're like, oh, I really want that TV or whatever, or that computer or something high priced. And you're like, if you got to be careful, you're not going to have enough money for that trip. If you start spending that, you're a third of the way there. You got a couple more thousand to save. I would keep saving. And you see it coming. You know what's going to happen here. You know they're going to spend that money and they're going to have to actually either they're going to have to like really like scrimp and save and really try to get it together, or they're going to have to cancel their participation with this trip. And you're giving them that heads up, like don't do that. I know you want that, but you're fine with what you have. The computer or TV you have is sufficient. You don't need that right now. You want to go on that trip, hold off on that. Save your money so you can do what you want to do. Don't do this quick thing. Don't make this quick purchase just because you're excited about it. It's something like that. Kind of like, whatever it is, you're seeing them make a quick, rash decision, and you're like, don't do that. Don't do that. But you know how they are. For some of you, I feel like this is a relative. I don't know why I'm saying that other than it's just coming through that way. So just to be honest, it could be a friend or a coworker that means a lot to you. But to me, it feels like a relative. It's like somebody who means something, somebody who really means something to you very deeply, which could be a friend or a coworker if you really bond with that person. And why I'm going here, I'm kind of like avoiding it, but excuse me. They might be like you're seeing them flirt with disaster here. They might be in a relationship with somebody that you actually like, and you don't want them to screw that up. And they're kind of flirting over with something else. They're kind of flirting with disaster. That's what we'll call it. And you're kind of like, listen, don't do this. Don't ruin what you have. That moment is just a quick transitory moment. It's not worth it. This is not worth ruining that great situation you already have. Don't do this. Yet at the same time, you're like, sometimes they do this. They make decisions I don't think are good. I don't like it, but what am I going to do? Because I feel like they're going to do it. Whatever it is, they're going to do it. It bothers you, but at the same time, it bothers you and you try to still step back from it a little bit. Kind of like, oh, okay. Excuse me. It bothers you, but you step back is what I'm getting. And you're not really liking it, but you're not really sure what you should really do about it anyway. I feel like you might overall just distance yourself from this person for a temporary period of time because it really bothers you, but you're like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be a part of it. I want to pretend it's not that bad. But it does. The more you think about it, the more it bothers you. And I feel like you have to step back and you have to let them screw themselves over. Because you're like, you tried to tell them, you tried to help them, you told them not to do this, you told them not to do that. And it's almost like, for example, if we're going to use that same situation where they were in a great relationship, maybe they still are, but whoever they cheated with, let's just go there. The person they cheated with decided they didn't want it to be a temporary situation, and that situation is gonna come forward full blast, is what I'm getting. One way or another, that situation will come forward full blast, and I feel like all you can do is step back and just stay out of the way of it. I feel like with the Goddess of the Moon coming in and the Five of Cups, I'm not enjoying it, but I'm like, well, that they did what they did. It's not like they're innocent. Like, they're getting their just desserts. I don't enjoy watching that happen, but like, I told them not to. I tried to tell them not to. I tried to help them. It gets a bit messy. I do feel like it gets a bit messy. The moon comes in over here kind of like, oh, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know how this is going to shake out in the end. Everybody involved has to make their own decision. Like, this doesn't have to be a romantic thing playing out, but it feels a lot like it. Could be something else where this makes sense, where somebody made a decision, they shouldn't have done that, and now they're paying for their decision. They're going to pay for it. Like, the other side's going to balance out. And they're not going to be sure what to do with it. They're going to be kind of lost. Like, okay, now that not only did they screw up whatever they were doing, but now they're stuck in the mess, the middle of the mess, and they're like, I don't know where to begin to clean this up. And I feel like you can't really help them, mostly because the way you make decisions, being in that mess in the first place doesn't seem very likely. Even if you're a person that maybe earlier in your life you made similar situations or had similar problems, you learn from that and you stopped doing that because you didn't like how that worked out for you or other people involved. So the reason I feel like you can't really help is because it's not about, they're not really learning that they created their own mess. They just want to get out of their current mess. You know what I mean? They just want to be able to step out and walk away from it. And the thing is, they need to clean it up. And I feel like even if you're a person that made these type of decisions earlier in your life, you learned, like, you don't like this mess, you got to clean it up yourself. And then when you clean it up yourself, you make the decisions to not make that mess happen again. It's like the school of hard knocks. And they're not interested in that. They just want to get out of it. They just want a free ticket out. And I feel like you're looking at this like that's not how that works. You got to clean up your own mess. And when you clean up your own mess, you discover how to not create your own mess so that you don't have to clean it up again. So you can't fix this for them. I don't think there's anything really here you could do. Even if you wanted to give them a free pass, I really don't think you have the ability to. You could drive yourself crazy trying to. But the only way for this to get better for them is for them to clean up their own mess. And I feel like that's with you kind of stepping away and just kind of going into other situations and leaving it be and let them clean up their own mess, because they need to be trapped in it. I know maybe that sounds brutal, but they need to be trapped in it, because when they're trapped in it, they're going to look at how they got there, and then they're going to have to clean up their own mess, and then they're going to make much more headway in not creating another one similar. Because I get the hermit with the Eight of Swords, they're going to get trapped in this mess for a while, and that's the only way they're going to think it out and sort it out and realize they made some decisions. It was their own decisions that got them where they are, and if they don't like that, they need to work to clean it up and then make better decisions going forward so that they don't have to deal with this. Like, not for nothing, if they don't mind the situation and they like being in that mess, well, that's good for them. But that's not how this is playing out. They don't like the situation. Well, they got to learn what they did. They have to sort out what choices they made, clean up their mess, make that resolve not to repeat. Just not repeat it. Oh my goodness, that scared the bejeebus out of me. It's part of their path to figure out what they did and how to fix it and how to handle it. There's nothing for you to really feel bad about. I do feel like it will bother you, but I don't feel like there's really anything for you to feel bad about. It's just stepping back and letting them go through the process. They need to go through the process to go through that learning situation. It's just how it needs to play out. I think we're there. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.